Hello there, my name is Jason Perkins and I'm a Georgia Workers' Compensation attorney. I'd like to welcome you to another edition of my Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. In this series, I provide you helpful information about the rules and benefits of Georgia Workers' Compensation law. Today, I'd like to speak with you about Georgia Permanent Partial Disability Benefits. They're sometimes called PPD benefits for short. But before I get into that, be sure and be on the lookout for my next video in this series about getting workers' compensation to approve physical therapy. Now, let's talk about PPD benefits. Permanent partial disability benefits are benefits that the insurance company pays you under the workers' compensation law because you have a permanent impairment as a result of your injury. Now, the first thing that's important about that is that the impairment is permanent. This means that you generally will not receive permanent partial disability benefits until you've reached maximum medical improvement in your case. Maximum medical improvement is sometimes abbreviated as MMI by your doctor. Basically, it means that your doctor has gotten you as good as you can get, that you're not expected to have substantial improvement from that point. At this point, when you reach MMI, if your doctor thinks that you've still got some permanent impairment as a result of your injury, the doctor will give you a permanent partial disability rating. In Georgia, the doctor is required to use a book that's put out by the American Medical Association called the American Medical Association Guides to the Evaluation of Permanent Impairment. And the doctor is also required to use the 5th edition of that book. That book attempts to rate any disability that you may have as a result of an injury. So if you have a back injury, there's a chapter in that book devoted to spinal injuries. If you have a leg injury or a shoulder injury or a foot injury, you have an eye or an ear injury, it covers everything. So the doctor uses that book and goes through, and based on what the book says, gives you a rating. And that rating entitles you to some permanent partial disability benefits. Now in Georgia, you don't receive the permanent partial disability benefits until you have the rating, and also until you're no longer receiving benefits for being out of work. So you can't be receiving temporary total or temporary partial disability benefits and permanent partial disability benefits at the same time. If you're receiving the temporary total and temporary partial disability benefits, your permanent partial disability benefits will not be paid until you stop receiving them. Either maybe after you go back to work or the time frame for receiving those benefits runs out. Now, how long you receive permanent partial disability benefits depends on what rating the doctor gives you. And I'm going to discuss that in another video in some more detail. But the higher the rating, the longer you'll receive the benefits for. The amount of the benefits that you receive is the same as the amount of the benefits that you receive if you're totally out of work because of your injury. So if you receive temporary total disability benefits, your permanent partial disability benefit weekly check should be the same. If you have not, then your permanent partial disability check will be determined by your average weekly wage for the 13 weeks before you got hurt, just like your temporary total disability check is determined. I hope you found this information helpful. If you have, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up or by liking it. If you want other information about Georgia Workers' Compensation, be sure to visit our Perkins Studdard Workers' Compensation YouTube channel. All the videos from my Georgia Workers' Compensation video series are available there. There's over 70 of them at this time. If you have specific questions about your case and want to discuss those, the best way to do that is normally through a free consultation. If you'd like to set one up with me, I'd be happy to do so. You can reach out to me at the phone number on the bottom of the screen or by visiting our website at www.perkinslawtalk.com. There's a form there that you can complete and submit to set up a consultation. Thanks again for watching today, and I wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injury.